you were living abroad and you were shipping back all the furniture to put in your house, it was cheaper for you to buy them there, ship it, clear it, bring it to home, as opposed to going to the local store?
Yes, you do not have to pay any duty when it comes to Jamaica as a returning resident. So you get up to 3 bedrooms of all the things you can possibly think of in that bedroom. Basically free of cost.
What is the shipping time generally from the US to reach to the Jamaican port?
The ETA from Florida, if you get the goods to us by Wednesday, it will be in Kingston by Monday.
Let's say I wanted to ship my lovely TV and something. It got damaged by the time it reached my door in Kingston. Where's the recourse there? Who buy back my TV?
Hello, Throppers, and welcome back to another video podcast episode. If this is your first time visiting, a special welcome to you. My name is Winthrop Wellington, and I'm the host of On Deck with Throp, where we have meaningful conversations with people from all over the world, all about Jamaica. And in today's episode, it's a clip from my annual Jamaica Investment Conference, ThropX 2022. And on the panel, we have Dennis Hawthorne, who is the CEO and founder of Dennis Shipping. And if you're ever wondering about what it's like to ship to Jamaica, whether you're shipping a car, your entire house, and you're moving here, or you're doing something like an Amazon shipment or something like that from the United States, this is definitely the video for you. Dennis is a very entertaining person, but he is also a very knowledgeable person, having multiple decades in the shipping and logistics business, specifically focused on Jamaica and the Caribbean. I will also say I do highly recommend his services, as he is my personal shipper that I use for all of my equipment coming in for Throp Media, and also that of my family's hotel, Travelers Beach Resort. He's the only shipping company that we trust and that we use, Dennis Shipping. So if you are looking into shipping anything to Jamaica, or that, to a matter of fact, to anywhere in the Caribbean, you can look at and find the contact information to Dennis Shipping in the description below. Without further ado, please enjoy this panel discussion on shipping in Jamaica to Jamaica with Mr. Dennis Hawthorne.
So, Dennis, tell me what's been happening with shipping as an industry right now.
All right. First of all, I have to say this. Shipping and trading is the oldest business in the world. If shipping and trading stops, the whole world stops, which you saw that in the pandemic, because one country could not export to the other country. So everything was at a standstill.
Especially from China, though, a lot of those ports were closed, and then we heard a whole backlog.
Correct, yes. Even from the U.S. too, which we mainly ship from the U.S. to the Caribbean island, not from Jamaica. So people might perceive that Dennis Shipping is from Jamaica. We originate from New York, which I registered the company in 1988. I've been in the business for 37 years. So we have two locations in New York, which is Brooklyn and the Bronx, which is primary Caribbean folks, especially Jamaicans, and we have in Florida also, which is Lauderhill, which is also one of the West Indian community. And as I said before, I told people that shipping and trading is the oldest business. But a friend of mine said to me, I'm lying, it's not the oldest business. I really don't want to say what is the oldest business. All right, so I just want to clarify this and let you guys know that he and I are no longer a friend. Yes, and I just want to make something clear, because one of the person in the audience said something to me just this morning. Oh, you are Dennis Shipping, but you guys are so prejudiced, and that you guys don't ship from England. And then here's the next one said from Canada. We're sorry. We're not prejudiced. And it's just, she's showing herself. We're not prejudiced. It's just that the proximity from the USA to the Caribbean is much closer than UK. And plus, we really don't like the weather. I don't want to go to UK, no, with the weather. As they say, it's 5 days of summer. I don't want to go there. But, you know, I give kudos to all the British folks. And I realized that most of the returning residents are from the UK. I don't know why. You know, a lot of them, I think they can't stand the cold.
But so you mentioned that your business has 2 locations in the US, and you do a lot of business with Jamaica and other Caribbean islands. What is the shipping time generally from the US to reach to the Jamaican port?
All right, let me answer that question. No, we have more than 2. We have 2 locations in New York, and we have 1 location Plus, we have independent agents throughout the U.S., Virginia, right back to Rhode Island, New Jersey. As one person just told me, right over there, she shipped one of our agents from New Jersey. And when she came here, the experience was fabulous. That's her right there. So we have an agent show. So we're not just a small company. We're an NVOCC company. And the transition time that, the ETA for New York, which is a little bit longer time than Florida, takes approximately 2 weeks to get to Jamaica. And it depends on the shipping availability at the port. Montego Bay, sometimes it takes a little longer time for shipping because of the space they don't have. In Kingston, we really don't have a problem with that. From Florida, if you get the goods to us by Wednesday, it will be in Kingston by Monday. So it's pretty much fast. So what I advise most of the folks, if they want to ship something and order it online, what they could do is just send it to Florida. One of the advantages in doing so is that you also pay a little less tax than, especially if you're from New York. So the taxes that you would pay online based on where you live in, because they're sending it to Florida, it would be a lot less for you to pay. I think it's 6 point something. Well, New York, I think it's about approximately 9% taxes that you pay. Yeah, almost. Yeah. All right. Thanks. 8.75. Thanks for correction. Yeah. So it's a much higher taxes that you would have paid than in Florida. So, and the transit time from Florida is much, much faster. So I would advise you, if you're shipping anything, because it doesn't matter where in the US you are, you could just order it online with Amazon, which most people are using now, and ask them to ship it to Dennis Shipping. You have our address, or you could visit our website at www.dennisshipping.com. We have online tracking and all of those things available. In Jamaica, they are now implementing something that they call contactless clearance, where contactless clearance, where the customers does not have to go to the port to clear their things. It will be searched before they get there, clear and have it ready. All they would have to do is come and pick it up. They could pay online or pay us as the agent there and then just come in. And so the waiting time that they have, the reason why they're bringing up this, because of the pandemic, the experience that they have with limited amount of people to go on the wharf to interact. So they're, just in case they are preparing for that now, just in case something else like that happen, customers really don't have to go there and interact with everybody else and customs and put themselves at risk. So they will be implementing this from April right across the country. All the ports, all the warehouses is contactless. They started last month they started, but it's like a trial basis until April of next year. Then they're going to fully implement that. I just want to say that we have different type of service. So people also presently who are afraid of even going to the wharf and spend time, we have door to door. You don't have to. You just call us. We come to your house anywhere you're at. We pick up your items. We have a fleet of truck and professional staff, two of which are here with me today. Yeah, he does the delivery. Carlos right there. And Miss Gillespie, she's from Kingston. He's from Montego Bay. They accompany me here just in case I left out anything with the old brain. They can just back me up.
But before we get into the products, so let's say we're overseas and we wanted to actually send some tablets to a school. Like, let's talk about the types of things that you ship and how they're packaged to be shipped.
Okay. We ship, I would say, almost from a pin to an anchor. That's what they call it. Everything. And we have done a numerous amount of tablets for different various organizations, which we actually donate free to them. The University of the West Indies, we have done a lot of charity work. Just recently, the government, during the pandemic, we ship like about 3 or 4 containers load, free of course, for the Minister of Education with masks and disinfectants and all the things you can possibly think of.
So that was part of your corporate social responsibility?
Yes. Dennis Shipping is a benevolent company. We do a lot of charity. So we're not just a shipping company. I give back because I know the need that are there. When I was growing up, I was supposed to go to Jamaica School of Art, but my parents could not afford it. And I had to struggle, so I wish I had somebody to help me. And as Bob Marley said in life, if his life is for me alone, me not want it. It simply means that it's not about you and your family. You have to be able to give back. And we're giving back. And because of my hardworking, dedicated staff. Sometimes they even argue with me. I said, boss, you got to stop giving. You have to stop. But I can't stop. It's just part of me. And God have blessed us. We have set up a scholarship fund through a few in the University of West Indies every single year. For the past about 15 years, 2 students get a full scholarship from Danish Shipping. But there's a lot of things that we do on other individual students get scholarship. But we don't talk about school. Man, it's school too. Granger School, all of these things that we have done. St. George's College in Kingston, most of the school they can possibly think of. So it's not just Westmoreland we work with. We work throughout the island. NEAT, which Ms. Brown spoke about, we ship all the tablets and books in the early days free. And now the computers and everything free of cost. We clear them ourselves and deliver it straight here to the Negro Environment Foundation.
But there are people who will complain that they've been trying to get goods to entities, whether it's a school, whether it's a children's home, and there is an issue. How do you navigate that space?
All right. You see, the issue that they're having is they just take up the things and just ship it. And if you ship it, you would have to pay the duty. You have to go to the Minister of Education or the Minister of Health and get a concession first before you can do so. And then you have to itemize the things and the value of it and when you're going to ship it. And you have to get that permission first before you ship it.
So we make contact with the various ministries.
Right, with the various ministries first before. Or you could send it to a non-profit organization and let them aware of what you're sending so that they themselves can clean. Like, for example, NEAT. They send a lot of things to NEAT, but they clear it. They get a concession to clear it with the government because they have a non-profit organization already. So you have to send it to a non-profit organization or directly to the ministry, which have to be able to be aware and give you the concession form before you go to customs, because it's almost like 2 different entities. Even though they belong to the government, customs is so much collecting their money, the government collecting money. So it's different things. So it's sort of hard for you to just get up and just ship things directly to individuals or school on your own. And that's one of the folks that complain about this. You know, but it's not hard. It's easy. I work with a lot of organizations. You know, alumni, we have worked along with a lot of alumni that have sent things and they have cleared it and delivered it, you know, and it's no problem at all. No problem.
No, Jamaica doesn't produce guns. And from time to time, customs will release a little story in the media. I'm like, oh my gosh, we just, drug bust or gun bust, whatever. And they'll tell you how many guns were in that barrel or in that container. What does Danish Shipping do to ensure that people are not stuffing other contraband and items into the packages?
Let me just surely say this. Danish Shipping cannot do anything about that. One of the reasons is that Danish Shipping, we only can take the individual name or ID who's shipping the items. What happens is now, if you come to us and you said this is personal effects or personal things that is in your item, we cannot open it to search, to verify. And we would not have the time and the resources to do so either, because we would have to have a scanning machine at each location in the US, which is, we're not government. We're not able to do that, because when it goes to the court, customs randomly scan these things. So it so happened that sometimes they catch certain folks with certain things and sometimes they won't.
So there's no implication for you as a shipping company?
No, there's no implication because we're not involved with it. It's a personal effect. If the person declared to us that they have guns or ammunition in the barrel, then we could say, no, we can't ship this thing.
Because I'm going to keep, I'm the one load of a magazine tip.
They're not going to declare that. So we really don't have any control over those things. All right, back to being returning resident. One of the things that as a returning resident coming from the United States or from anywhere, first of all, the shippers that you're shipping with, you have to find out if they are bonded.
Bonded?
Yes, bonded. Yeah.
What is that?
This is not applying in Jamaica, but in the state, it has to be a bond. We have to have an insurance bond that we put up with the Federal Maritime. Each of us are registered as an NVOCC. NVOCC, which is non-vessel operator common carrier. It simply means that we do not own the ship, but we have the same insurance bond as a person that owns the ship. So we fall under the same category as a person that owns the ship. Same everything. Everything is applied to us by the Federal Maritime. So what happened now, they have a listing of all the shippers that are bonded. So you will have some shippers, they call them fly-by-night. And I'm not discriminating against anyone. That people take up their things and they offer some rate that is ridiculous, that we cannot compete on because we have to pay insurance. We have to make sure our staff look like that with uniform and everything like that. So we can compete against that. What we compete at is the service that we give. And what we do, some of the folks will tell you, when they come to our location, we bring the first world settings to Jamaica, which is considered third world, even though our people is first world people. You know, yeah, I know that. It's first world people. So we bring all of that. If you come to our location, and I remember back in the days when I went to one of the Mercedes dealer to purchase a car, and I was so impressed of the service that they gave me. They came in a limousine to pick me up. Yes. Right. And when I go there, they offer me donuts and coffee. And so what I did, I eliminate. I thought I use the same concept.
So I get donuts when I come and visit your office?
Yeah, man. So, yeah. So when you come to our location, on the side, we have coffee, Jamaican good crackers, you know, and tea and everything that is there. Christmas time, we have Christmas cake, the black cake that you love. Because I know a lot of folks come in early because they want to avoid the rush. They will leave their house without even having breakfast. And they will come to us, so we make sure we provide that. And we are one of the first person who started that in Jamaica in terms of what we do because of my experience in the first world. And Mr. McCarthy said something early on what I sort of resonate with, that we're exporting our young people and the talented people abroad to do certain things. Yeah. But look at the reverse of it, Mr. McCarthy. I think we're importing all of that experience back to Jamaica, and so that they themselves can build Jamaica and make it a better place. And I would advise all the returning residents, adopt a school, adopt a child. You don't have to be financially secure. Just by mentorship, just doing some of these things. I am a living returning resident, so I myself can speak from experience as a returning. I lived in New York for 30-something years, and I came back to Jamaica. I shipped all my household items, you know, my automobile and everything like that. So anything that you want to ask me, I have practical experience of it. So I could answer all your questions from a practical point of view.
On that exact point, you were living abroad and you were shipping back all the furniture to put in your house. It was cheaper for you to buy them there, ship it, clear it, bring it to the home, as opposed to going to the local store.
Yeah, yes. You know, and for example, appliances here are so expensive. If you go into Courts or any one of those places, and the advantage that you get from purchasing them at sea, you do not have to pay any duty when it comes to Jamaica as a returning resident. So you get up to 3 bedrooms of all the things you can possibly think of in that bedroom. Yeah, basically free of cost.
If you are returning,
if you're a returning resident, you know, but there's certain criteria to be a returning resident.
I was gonna ask, why
you have to live there for over 3 years. You know, you could be a student also. Jamaican, you can have a U.S. passport, and you can do like me, have a U.S. passport and a Jamaican passport. So, because one of the time when I came back down here back in the days, they give me 2 weeks to stay in my own country with my U.S. passport. So I said, no, man, I have to use my Jamaican passport. So what happened is now, it's indefinite time they have to give me. So I just come in and stay as long as I want to. You know, they can penalize me, you know, in staying overtime. So that's an advantage to have a Jamaican and a U.S. passport, or a Jamaican and a British passport.
So,
and the Canadian.
Boy, that really are a citizen of the world. But let's talk a little bit about the jobs. So you've been in business for a couple of years. What are some of the new job titles or areas of expertise that you've added to the building to help it, business to help it to grow?
Well, all right. Let me just talk about my new adventure that taking place. We know that the market is evolving. You know, the older folks that used to ship the barrels and all of these things, the younger folks would probably order the iPhone online and everything like that. We do ship. We started early on before everybody else. why persons would consolidate one barrel with different items and then distribute it to different folks. So what we're doing right now, right in front of the U.S. Embassy, we just purchased, well, not just, it's like over 2 years now. We purchased that building called Ligony Business Center, and we demolished it. And we're going to have Dennis Shipping Express, which is a headquarter for Dennis Shipping here in Jamaica. Yeah, so we're doing pretty good. And our workers there, they can tell you all the benefits that is possible. They have Sagicor health benefits. They have pension plans. They have uniform things. So you have to take care of the staff because actually they are the one who make Dennis Shipping what it is today. Not really me. Because I am sitting back and just spending the money sometimes and everything like that. And I feel
I too, boss.
guilty. Yeah, I feel a little guilty sometimes, in spending. But I said, boy, I have to do it. Like every time somebody calls me and said, boy, Dennis, we have a little charity. Like baseball, the baseball that they're introducing to Jamaica. We are one of the top sponsors for the baseball thing. Every little thing that comes up, which we really don't publish ourselves or talk about it, because I like to stay in the background, because I don't want to small up Dennis Shipping by they see a little black man like me that owns it. So I make sure, because a Chinese person that I grew up with, I take some pages out of his book. He had an Italian guy that fronted everything. And because they think he was an Italian that owns it, he gets a lot of support. And even from our own people. So I'm just telling you that. I'm not trying to be, but that's what it is. It's the reality of what it is. And one of my ex-boss said to me, and this is one of the reasons why the ambience in my place and everywhere else is different. He said to me, if you have a penny, make it look like a pound. So presentation is one of the key points in doing certain things, and that's how we present ourselves. And anybody can tell you when our location, it's professional. It does not look like me, it's professionally put together.
So tell me about some of the job titles, like you have logistic coordinator.
Yes, she had just graduated about probably 4 years from CMU, and she started
The Caribbean Maritime Institute.
Yeah, the Caribbean Maritime Institution. And what happened is also, every year, we have taken at least 4 or 6 Caribbean Maritime students to do their internship at all different offices that we have. So we give back in terms of that part of it. And we have different positions that we have. We have managers, we have marketing. Well, I am basically the marketing manager ever since. I don't know. They just pour that on me. And, I seem to be doing a reasonable job of it. So I just had to keep that title, of marketing. I think I'm one of the workers.
So how do you stay on top of your game in terms of the industry and being informed as to what's happening? What are the trends?
Well, the information that comes from, they're the one who actually stay on top of the information. Not me. I have some good people in New York, Jamaica, throughout the Caribbean, and God have blessed me that I have some wonderful staff, and they keep on top of things. So, I am not going to take credit for all of these things. I put my days in, and I started the business from a garage and expanding it. And now it's time for me to pass on the baton to them. So they have to take it to the next level. I said, if they're not taking it to the level, then I'm going to have to give it to somebody else to do it, because it's a legacy that I'm leaving back. So even when I passed away, my business should be running by itself. It's now running by itself anyway, But I just don't want to leave all this. I want to take some time out to congratulate Trop for this event. Boy, I'm telling you, man, I know Trop with the first person in Jamaica that had a drone that was going over. I thought that was it. But he had taken it to a different level. And I'm so proud of it. This is really an experience. And it's an experience for me to Trop. This is the first time I'm sitting beside a nice young lady like this to talk about things.
But of course, we say thank you to Trop for his vision as well, and kind of bridging the gap. Because there are a lot of people who are overseas and in the diaspora who want to find out about services that have a nice linkage to home. So somebody of Jamaican descent that's doing well a black man that we want to support.
Yes, yes, yeah, I understand.
That's doing good business. So, of course, you fit right into that. Now, in terms of some of the services, so yes, if you wanted to ship things for a charity, smaller items, tell me about some of the products and services that you provide at Dennis Shipping.
Okay, all right. We have a thing right now they call pre-clearance, which is custom clearance. What we do, instead of you coming to the wharf to go to the hassle of paying everything, we do everything for you and have it at our office, which we have a location where we store it in the warehouse, in the back of the warehouse. So all you have to do is come to our office and reimburse us for the fees that we paid upfront for you, for customs, and pick up your things. So you don't have to interact. It's a little bit more than the ordinary that you would have to pay. But you have to determine what your time worth. You get me? So we charge a fee. And then you determine, say, boy, if you're going to spend half a day or 2 hours or 3 hours, how much your time worth. You know, which a lot of people are using it. And I find that now people are using it more than ever. And I want to say, you mentioned something about the pandemic. Would you believe me, last year, during the pandemic, we did about 35 to 45% increase in business. So every disaster, somebody benefit from it. So we were lucky that we benefit from it. In the initial stage when it started in 2020, everybody suffered with the shipping line and everything. The only problem that we're having right now, because of the increase and the demand for everything, the steamship line increases their price of everything else, and fuel went up, everything went up, so the price, and then we have to sort of keep it. We cannot give the customers everything on, you know, so we have to take a little bit blow from it also. But that's the only disadvantage that I would think of. You know, but we have work right through. I was just watching, we have a WhatsApp group in Jamaica, and last night it was like 8, 9 o'clock. Guys were delivering barrels and they're saying, just finish that, you know. So quite over the, you know, they're doing pretty good. You know, we have some good, hard-working folks in Jamaica and abroad.
All right, so you mentioned the contactless clearance, pre-clearance. Which other products and services you provide?
Okay, we have the door-to-door too, that we mentioned early on, that we could pick up your items, whether barrels, boxes, anything else, and deliver it straight to your door. I want to say though, with returning resident, because everybody have the perception that they get concession as a returning resident and automobile. You don't. What the advantage you have as a returning resident as in automobile, you will able to ship up to 10 years car. Instead of 5 or 6 years, you get an extended up to 10 years old car you'll be able to ship. So, but you have to show that you have owned this car outright for more than X amount of time, and then you might have sentiment attached to the car. So even though it's old and it passed the requirement, they allow you to ship it. And there are other things like for classic cars, you can ship, it's ageless that you can ship. Also, it depends on the CC rating, you pay a percentage. Let's say you want to ship like a big car, then, when I say big, is the engine size big, like over a V8, which is over 3,000 cc. You would pay like 90%, which is sort of good compared to back in the days. When I moved back home here in Jamaica, I paid 195% duty on that type of vehicle, which is now 95%. So you're saving like 100% duty now, you know, which is sort of good. I have to commend the government them for reducing the price, because the other countries, like St. Vincent, Barbados, and all those, they give concession to things like that. Jamaica, I don't know why they don't. You know, Jamaica is somewhat. Yes.
So sometimes, even when people my age are trying to order little things off Amazon, we see it as a particular price, and you're like, let me just add $20 US to that. Maybe that would be how much I pay at customs. Is there a way for me to work out how much fees customs will charge on the items I intend to ship before I go through with all of this?
Yes, you can. You could go to custom website. I'll probably ask my assistant to give you the correct website. You know, you could get it from her.
They have a calculator on the website?
Well, no, they have a percentage. So you would have to work it out. So for example, if you ship in like appliances, any form of appliances, is 35 to 65%. It depends on the value of it. All right, let me just use an example, like a television then. Let's say you order a television and it's over 60 inch, 55 inch. You'll pay 65% of whatever the value is for that TV. Make it known that you might get a break on it. Like say you get, the TV would normally cost $200, but you pay $150. You would have to provide that invoice to show that you paid, because custom would normally do is go on the site to look and see how much the value of that. So that's how they normally value most.
But I heard that customs does not look at discounted things. They're going to look at what's the general rate. So if it's 200, and then they're using the 200, not your 150.
Right, correct. But if you have the invoice to show that, they can't dispute the invoice so long as it's a legit invoice. You know, a lot of people make up invoice. So, and you know, we're Jamaican.
But you're saying that customs ought to honor the invoice.
Correct. Yes. So long as it's a legit invoice. I have a situation similar to that, and I had to have the dealer send them an invoice to show that this was the amount that I paid for it. So I'm speaking from experience. So most of these things I've gone through it myself. So I can tell you, from practical experience that these are the things that happen. And then I have a very good relationship with customs and the port too, because I've been in the business for quite a while.
So let's say I wanted to ship my lovely TV and something. It got damaged by the time it reached my door in Kingston. Where's the recourse there? Who would buy back my TV?
That customs would not have anything to do with it, because you would probably have to check it and then don't pay the duty on it before. Right. Let's say you check it and then you realize that it's damaged.
My auntie sent it to your office in New York.
And it get damaged.
I don't know where it get damaged. She drop it off to you, right? Your company supposed to ship it to me here.
Right.
But when it came to my door, I noticed it was damaged. So what's my steps to?
Well, we have a lot of I have a situation like that. First of all, you would have to contact the dealer that you purchased it from, just to let them know that the contents was inside the box, and when you open it, it was damaged. Because what we do is when we get it, it's just the external part that we can look at. One lady one time had the television, and when she got home, everything was intact, but when she plugged it in, it's not working. She wants to blame us for it. But in everything that people ship, there's always defective things or so that comes out. Even car, they have defective. So we cannot be held responsible for it. What I would advise the customer to do then is take out an additional insurance on it, just in case something like this. So we have a clause on our bill of lading that you could take out insurance, just in case anything unfortunate happen. God forbid something happen beyond our control, because we're not the only person that handle the items that gets here. And sometimes we ship things and people think that this Dennis shipping totally responsible for it. It goes to a government warehouse, and then in turns we have to leave the responsibility on the government to take care of it. So let's say the government warehouse burned down, then the shipping is not responsible for it, but people are going to come to us. But we advocate for the customer to make sure that they can get it back from the warehouse, but it's not then the shipping responsible for it, because they hire folks inside the warehouse to take care of it.
In terms of the insurance, where do we take that?
Oh, no, man. We have insurance that we sell, that we offer to customers on our bill of lading. So if they want, they pay an extra fee. But they would not get a refund or anything like that. If let's say they get the TV intact, they still lose the insurance. But if something happened, then we reimburse them for the value of what they send it for, what they purchase it for, or what they insure it for. So based on the value that you insure, that's the amount of premium that you will be paying.
Okay, so based on the value.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, I'm going to start opening the floor to questions that we might have for Dennis. Go ahead, Mark. Come to the mic, of course.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Horton.
Yeah, man.
Good to see you again.
Yes. Good to be here.
I wanted you to touch on containers a little bit more. Mm-hmm. If your company provides information to get in a container, what's the cost of a 20-foot container, a 40-foot container? Do you assist with packing the container? And what kind of insurance is based on the value that's in the
correct, right?
And then if you could shed a little light, if you're planning to send a small vessel, 19-foot Grady White, what would that contain?
A 19-foot what?
A Grady White boat.
Oh, he said small.
Board. Sorry. All right. Sorry about that.
What's the best way to pot that? Most affordable way and time it.
All right. So let's do the first one.
All right.
In terms of the
All
content.
right, let me get from the last one backward. That would depend on the size, if it could fit in a container. Right. 19, what's the width of it?
Maybe like 10 foot, 12.
Between 8 and 12.
All right, it probably would not fit. It's a roll-on. What we would do would calculate it basically, it would go on the ship. It would not go into a container. Based on the measurement, they will calculate and give it to you. I don't have the calculation offhand to give to you, but my office could do that. If you call my office and give them the length, the width and the height, and the weight of it, they will give you a price on it. That shouldn't be a problem at all. Back to the dry containers that you're saying. A lot of returning residents purchase the container itself. Let's say a 40-foot, mostly 40-foot, because that can fit most of their household items inside. What it does, you do not pay for the container directly. You pay a bit. Yep. I think Miss Bridges trying to sabotage me, Yeah. Based on the amount of items that you have, it's almost like a lease in a container. So we don't charge you for the actual container. Let's say you want a container that when you get to Jamaica, you could use it afterward for storage. It's approximately right now, because of steel going up and China buying out all the steel, container price has gone sky high, the empty containers, which is steel. I think based on my knowledge, it's approximately about $3,000 up to $5,000 you can actually pay for that 40-foot container, US dollars, not British dollars, not British pound. Just a charity. And not Jamaican dollars. I'm not going to say that I'm prejudiced against her completely.
And your company also provides a service.
Yes, we do packing, which would be an extra. It all depends on how much wrapping and packing that we would have to do based on how delicate your items are. And then we have another choice that we could deliver the container also to you, and you pack it yourself, and we would just charge you for the container, shipment of the container, and the trucking costs. So it was up to you, and then you would give account for all the items that is inside you. We drop the container to your location, and you take your time, which you have, I think, 3 to 5 days to pack it the most. Or you can live load it, which is we give you 2 hours free. And then after that, they charge you like $100 per hour. So it depends. So those are some of the service that we have available. And any items of what you're talking about, tractor trailers and all of those things, those really don't go on containers. We would have, it's live load that goes onto the ship. So it would base on the space that it would take up on the ship. So we would send it directly to the port to be loaded onto the ship. And based on the measurement, they charge us a fee for that, or the space that we take up on the ship. And then we in turn charge you like a fee and a broker fee.
What is the benefit of your business over some of these other new little courier companies that we're seeing ship things?
It's basically a different business altogether, because they do overnight things and they don't have a set location. What they might have is a house address that they might send the things to. We have a warehouse that can accommodate. We have like a tree loading dock in Florida that we brings a container there and we goes right into. I think Drop has some photograph of some things. I'm sorry, you didn't have those to show them about how we process and load these containers, and even carrying them down. But they're good business, and those businesses are mostly for the younger folks that are coming along, which we also will be venture into that pretty soon. With the Ligani location. Well, we can't talk too loud, because I hope nobody not here. Yes.
Come around to the mic for me, please. So you're saying you also operate as a brokerage as well?
Yes, we have an in-house broker that we deal with. So again, you guys have to understand this. If you have anything that is valued over 5,000 US dollars, we have to do an entry and we have to use a broker to clear your items. You cannot just go to the port and pick up that item by yourself. So it's over $5,000. We have to. No, there's no exception. I was going to say returning resident, your value is way more, but we still have an in-house broker that takes care of everything and have it delivered to your house.
All right. So over 5,000 US. If something is valued over 5,000 US,
Yes.
broker has to be involved. All right.
Good day, sir.
Yeah. Good.
So my question is twofold. I'm familiar with your location in New York,
Oh, yeah.
and I've always wondered, do you do internal local transshipment between states?
No, sorry, we don't. That would be actually movers, so to speak. That wouldn't be actually shipping. A lot of people mistake us for movers. Shipping has to be on the sea, so to speak. So anything internal is movers.
Have you ever considered expanding your business into that?
We thought about it, but let me just say this. Right at this point, sometimes we have more than we can manage, unless we're going to get you to do a subsidiary business of that. So you could manage it.
That's not agent.
Yes, but we'd have to get the agent mover that we brokered it to. So if that's something that you consider, we get a lot of that. People call us for that, but it's actually for movers internally.
Great. I understand that your location serves coffee, tea. I've been to your office in New York, and I didn't even get a cup of water.
No. All right. Let me clarify that.
Wait, when did you first? I'm gonna ask. Why did that firstly?
That's a good one. No. At the office, let me just say this. There's a difference between the US and Jamaica. It's about 25% comes to the office to do pickup, to drop off stuff. And most of the time, they order it online and drop it off. So very few people come to the office. In Jamaica and the Caribbean, they have to come to the office. So this is where we provide. And you guys can afford coffee and tea yourself. You don't need that.
Stop embarrassing. I go to the Litany location. I am expecting my donut at.
Oh, yeah. No, it's building right now. It's not finished yet.
I said when I go there.
Yeah.
After was another question.
Sort of like duplicates or like goes over ground that you've already covered. But so my concern has to do with like the question of customs and immigration. When I come to the island, I wasn't a documented citizen before, but now I'm a documented dual citizen of Jamaica, right? By descent. Only by 1 degree though.
That's fine.
But I find that every time I land in Mobile or Kingston, they literally like extract at least $100 US out of me before I hit the yellow curb to get my rental taxi or what. And so what it does is it forces a situation where I feel as though I need to discourage other people from Jamaica because I feel like it's a racket. Sorry.
Oh, boy. I'm sorry to hear that.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm not being negative, but I'm just being honest. Maybe a little cynical, but I'm being honest, okay? What can we do as a nation? Because now I feel as though I have a stake in the governmental apparatus that is Jamaica, as, so that we can distance ourselves from the licensure governments of corrupt failed states. Not to say that United States is exempt from this, because we're also corrupt, right? But how do we make it such that we don't have to like it doesn't become like almost double speak when we encourage other people to come and invest in Jamaica. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I know it's a difficult question, and I realize that it is a question that requires a bit of nuance and is not it's not Pollyanna-ish, and I'm being incredibly candid in where I'm coming from, because it's hard sometimes, right, to make the case for other people to invest in Jamaica because of just the racket that occurs when you arrive and when you land at the airport and then like go to customs. When I came to the customs office, like when I come as a Jamaican or as American or whatever, and they see my bag, I had nothing but books. I had 6 luggage, like 21-inch luggage of books. I carry books around to the point where I don't even remember the fact that I have books on me. So they kept saying, what do you want to declare? I was like, I don't have anything to declare. I don't know. Like, I literally couldn't think of the fact that I had a bunch of books with me. I had a library when I landed. You understand what I'm saying? From Raleigh-Durham, which is where I teach as a university professor of English. Okay? So when I arrived, they kept trying to make me declare something, and I literally couldn't think, like, what's the problem with books? So I didn't declare anything. And they kept, like, hounding me. It took me 3 hours at the Sangster Airport to make it to the curb. And they made me go to, I'm sorry, I'm getting loud.
Let me sort of help you with that still. There's something that you cannot really avoid. Sometimes it depends on your appearance, your accent. People will pick on you for little things. You have to object to that. You know, is you as a person have to defend that rights that you presently have. But she touched on a good point. She touched on a good point as a person that comes into the country. One, I also have to tell you about the declaration of things. For example, which a lot of us do not know. When you get to Jamaica, you allow, as a returning resident, or if you're traveling, it doesn't matter how much time of year you're traveling, that you allow $500 for each entry that you get if you have things that you ship otherwise and you want to declare it. So whatever you have in your luggage, the value of it, so long as it does not exceed $500.
They were free because I'm a university professor and I get exam copies of books all the time from New York University Press, from Penguin University Press, from Verso, from Norton. I'm sure you're familiar with Random House. They're free. So the value of them was $0.
Yeah, but
for
they
me.
don't know that. They don't know that. They don't.
However, it's not. It's a shame. And I'm sorry. It's a sad, sorry shame that the declaration of books is an issue in this country.
Yeah.
When we say that one of the ethos of this country, or the credos of this country, of our nationality, is the expression of free speech, government.
No, man, that's all right.
Expression of free speech is a fundamental
Right.
principle of our nationality and of our government. When you bring in books and you just don't think about it, because guess what? Books happen to be a part of your heritage, your understanding of the world, and it's just basic. Like, you bring panties, you bring books.
Yeah. I do understand that.
What's wrong for that? But when I get there and I bring them, they want to sit there and they were trying to, like, I was racking my brain. They said, what do you want to declare? I was like, what do you want to declare to your family and friends? I said, my love and affection to them. Like, I didn't know what else to do. Like, I don't know. And I'm not being difficult, but I'm being honest and I'm being realistic. That needs to change. That attitude in Jamaica, like, they need to be like, books are okay.
Yes.
Why books should be a problem? Because when I go to, like, libraries here, it is abysmal.
Yes.
The holdings and the catalogs are abysmal. When I go to festivals, the holdings are abysmal. Do you know the types of books they have? The types of books that they give away to publishers for free. A bunch of books by, like, Dianetics, by, like, the Science House, the books that religious organization, to be specific, give away for free.
Yeah.
That's the only types of books they have in this country. There's a serious problem with publishing, with freedom of speech, with freedom of the pen.
But I understand your
I
frustration.
just want to say that.
I understand your frustration.
That should not
But I
cost me
think that
$100.
ignorance is one of the things that causes most of this. Is ignorance. They're not educated about these things and look at it like that. And Jamaicans are a different set of people. So what they have to do, they have to use one flag covers everybody in terms of what they do. So I think, but no, she draws something that I should have said to you guys about traveling. When you travel, each of you are entitled to $500 allowance on your things. They call it a UBA, unaccompanied baggage allowances that you get. What I ask customers to do, if you're shipping some items, try to put most of the valuable stuff in your barrel and not take it on you. Because this is when they're going to have to search you to determine the value of how much they give you on the $500. So let's say they see an iPhone for $200 and something then, or whatever it is, they make the deduction from the allowances. So when you go to the port, you would not have any allowances to clear the things. But if you declare nothing and you get the $500, most likely, I think 95% of the time, you will get it, even though the contents that you ship are valued more than $500, you will get it on the concession, which is about $6,500 on the duty of everything. So it's always best to do that. I do it myself. I ship a lot of that stuff, and most of my stuff, I don't even take it to the airport. I ship them, and I use the UBA, send it to my assistant. I said, clear this for me and deliver it to my house. And then the shipping provide that service.
It curves off.
I think the mic is off. Oh. Wait.
Check. Okay. So I was just going to say, in terms of the concern that she raised, we're at a conference to talk about issues, whether they're emanating locally or overseas, to advocate for things that we want to see change. So it's not a matter of because the government is a government minister or representative is not here. It's a matter of looking at this and taking it forward. For example, I live in Jamaica. So after attending something like this, I can help to put something forward. So nothing is too wayward or too out of touch. I appreciate all of your views coming forward. So I just wanted to put that on the table. Mark, before we go to your question, one came in online. What items are not acceptable for shipping?
First of all, I would say ammunition and gun. And some of the things that I would also advise not to ship is like onion, bacon. No, people do ship those things, and by the time it reaches here, especially by ship, it's spoiled and it stink and rotten up the whole place in terms of that. So these are some of the things that you cannot ship any accessories for guns, none of those things. You cannot ship camouflage uniforms. You're not allowed to do so. You cannot ship like the toy guns, them that look like guns or so. Those are some of the things that you would not allow. And there are certain things that you would have to, like plants or stuff like that, a food item that you would have to get a license before you can ship those. So, and you can go on the website to do that.
Which website?
You could go to Jamaica Customs. I think it's jamaicacustom.gov. I'm not exactly. My assistant probably have the.
Over.
Right. Right.
Check.
Right.
jca.gov.jm. So that's the Jamaica Customs Agency's website, and you can look at all the items that are banned.
And you could go to the trade board if you want to ship a car, and to see the percentage, you could go to the trade board .gov.jamaica also, and you will see all the information that you need to in terms of how to proceed to ship a car. Sometimes it's not worth it. There's some of the cars, then it doesn't make sense you ship it. You know, you could also purchase it here. With sometimes what I realize is that if you purchase some of the cars here, the extended warranty would be valid. But if you purchase it abroad, you have no warranty on it. So even if you purchase a new car abroad, which, you know, in the US, you have at least 3 years warranty plus 50,000 miles, you don't get that concession here in purchasing a car abroad and bring it here. So there's advantage and disadvantage, but if you buy the car cheap and you want to do certain things, you can also do that. So I'm not discouraging people from purchasing it there. I purchase my vehicle abroad all the time. Well, I'm in a position that I don't have to pay too much for shipping.
Different leagues. Mark, we'll take the last question from Mark for this. We hope is another. Oh, two? All right, so let her go before.
Hello. You had touched on returning Jamaicans getting certain items duty-free coming in. Can you touch on like a company coming in under the Jamaican Board of Tourism? Say if I am furnishing a hotel, I know there's special taxes and considerations, right? Shipping underneath the Jamaican Board of Tourism.
Okay. But the shipping part of it, I would be able to do that. But under the tourism, there are certain concessions that is allowed here, but you'd have to file it from here with the government here, with your tax compliances number and everything like that to show that this is a hotel or a legit hotel. So that would be a different entity that has to deal with the hotel to do that.
So you don't manage like that paperwork?
No, we don't.
Like that?
We don't.
Okay.
We don't. Sorry. Yes, you can't get a broker to manage that. Yeah.
Okay, real quick, Dennis. I know you have you have another office in Florida, right?
Yes, we
I
do.
know in New York you service the borrowers.
Yes.
But say for instance, I have an equipment in Georgia, Covington, and I want to get that small equipment to Florida. How far do you go? Your office do pickups in that Florida? Do you do Georgia, or what would you recommend in a case like that?
I think our office have like an independent agent that work along with us that could pick it up and bring it to us. They bring cargoes from Georgia almost every week or so from Georgia. You would have to contact them. Let me give the number just in case someone online wants to know. Our number in Florida is 754-223-2348. That's 754-223-2348. And our number in New York is 718-451-3617. We have an 800 number, but people don't use 800 number anymore. You guys know that, so I don't even bother to give it out. And that's a line that rolls over to the different lines that we have. So that number that I gave you, it rolls over, so you're more likely to get you right off the bat with it.
And what's your website?
It's www.dennisshipping.com. You could go to our website and you could make any requests of picking up or anything that you do. You see the different location and also the different agents in different islands and here in Jamaica. So you could contact them directly if you want to, which we even have a 718 number in Jamaica for people in New York who wants to call the office here in Jamaica and have a problem. We could give them that also. And we also have one in Montego Bay, Kingston and Montego Bay. So, we provide all of those little things, We're not just a shipping company. We make sure that we look out for the customer's need, because I myself was a customer once.
We'll take the final question for this panel.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you answered or addressed this already, but if you have items that were inherited, let's just say furniture or something, how does customs determine the value of that if you do not have an invoice or receipt or anything, and it's not something that is, let's just say, new or modern, that they can check the current price in the current market? It could have been something 20, 30 years old, like a desk from a grandparent.
It all depends on the individual. They would have to use their discretion on that to see the value. Over the years, the value goes down. It's an individual thing that they have to use based on the condition of the item. They will use their discretion to value it, because you can't use a receipt or you can't go online to do so. Most likely, you pay little or nothing if it shows that it's a used item.
But how would she know that before she even ships?
It's a used item. Not only that, but it's basically a tax on the value of the item. But if it's something that was given to me, it's a gift. I shouldn't be.
I see what you're saying.
I shouldn't have to pay anything on it.
Yeah,
Even if I'm moving it from point A to point B, and there's your shipping fee, there's your shipping fee. But for government to want to tax because I want to bring this personal item into the country, I'm trying to understand, how do they come up with the value? Because either way, it's something that I shouldn't have to pay.
That is something, whether you get it free or not, it doesn't make a difference. Whether you purchase it or get it free, they're going to put a value on it. And it depends on the individual to put a value on it. How they comes up with it, they use their discretion based on experience of what it is. Some of them are very lenient, some of them are over the board with it. So it all depends on it. It's a chance that they might charge. But if they charge you more than what you think it's value, you can always dispute it and ask for a supervisor and you will get it. And you call us, we can advocate for you in terms of what it is.
It actually came and she wants to dispute the price. You know, each day that the item has to stay at customs, there is a
storage fee. There's a storage fee. But the storage, I wouldn't be too much concerned about the storage because the storage in Jamaica is petty. How much is storage again, guys? Yeah, the cubic measurement. Depends on the cubic measurement, the size of the item.
Are there actual?
That's great. 360 or 360 US?
Jamaican dollars. Jamaican
dollars per day.
Yeah, so it's not something to worry about with storage of such. I wouldn't be too concerned about the storage. It's about getting your money worth and what it is.
So speaking of storage, that's if items are not picked up right away.
Correct.
Right? Does Jamaica actually have storage facilities where?
It's not necessarily storage. They allow you 7 days to keep it in a warehouse without charging you any fee. So if you do not pick it up within 7 days, as she said, it depends on the size of the item, but normally it would be like, for example, a barrel. It would be $300 and something each day after the 7 days that you would have to pay. I'm just can give you an example. Oh, 40 Jamaican dollars? Okay, all right. Yeah, big item. Like what she's...
Pray the final. You are separating us from not.
Okay, one really quick question.
Miss McCarthy, right?
Yes. My husband and I already stated that we're returning residents now. He's trying to come before me, and we also have 5 children. So is it that is one container for the family with 3 bedrooms? Or are we one for each week?
Yes, yeah. Normally, unless the both of you are going to come at a separate time and sign a divorce.
Not a horse in here, not a horse in like 3
And claimed she's shipping 3 bedrooms worth. And 2 months later, he's saying, I'm also now shipping 3 bedrooms worth. Can that work?
Oh, that's a...
No, but how old are the children? If they are over 18, they themselves are allowed to ship as a returning resident individual.
Do they need a TRN for that? No.
Yes, everybody can get a TRN so long as with you as a parent, a Jamaican, you could go to any one of the tax office to show that, and then you get a TRN, which doesn't take too long.
Okay.
You have to have a TRN to do any form of transaction in shipping, especially in shipping in Jamaica.
Okay, so we can do it separately. So I get a container and he gets a container. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but...
Under the returning resident?
But you know, one of the conflict in that, you guys going to declare the same resident that you're at, the same ownership that you're returning to. It might be a little bit of conflict, but in my Jamaican, in Bandolo, so I can work something out. I didn't get Calabar.
You just watched a clip from ThropX 2022. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more, click right here or somewhere on the screen. See you in the next one.